listener production.
Hi, Natarsha Belling with you and welcome to the afternoon edition of The Briefing. Coming up in our deep dive, the ARIAs are on tonight, the music industry's night of nights. They've showcased some of our nation's best talent and been the springboard for international success. We chat with a music expert on why the ARIAs are more important than ever. Those details in just a moment. But first, let's check the afternoon headlines this Wednesday, the 19th of November. The legislation to release the Epstein files now needs to be signed by the US president after swiftly passing the US Senate. The measure was passed both in the House and Senate after months of resistance from Donald Trump and a number of his Republican allies. The president abruptly backflipped over the weekend, saying he will sign the bill despite repeatedly dismissing the controversy as a Democrat hoax. Democrats, joined by survivors of Epstein seated in the House gallery, applauded as the legislation passed. Teresa Lega Fernandez from the Democratic Women's Caucus says today is an historic moment.
It was the women survivors who are here with us tonight who passed this bill because it was their bravery, it was their pain, and it was their light that shone through the darkness that passed this bill today.
After Donald Trump signs the legislation, authorities have 30 days to release the files. Meantime, new polling results show President Trump's approval rating has slumped to just 38% as the fallout continues over the Epstein scandal. New laws banning Nazi slogans and symbols have been introduced by the New South Wales government almost 2 weeks after a neo-Nazi rally in front of state parliament. The amendments to the Crimes Act will make it illegal to invoke Nazi ideology in public, including through chants or slogans like those used earlier this month. Offenders now face up to 2 years in jail or fines of up to $11,000, doubled to $22,000 if the offence occurs near a synagogue, Jewish school or the Sydney Jewish Museum. Police will also gain new powers to order people to reveal their identities and confront offenders wearing face coverings. And the Cambridge Dictionary has revealed its word of the year for 2025. It's chosen parasocial, which describes the one-sided emotional connections people form with someone they've never met, from celebrities to online creators, and now even artificial intelligence. The dictionary says rising concerns about people forming similar bonds with AI chatbots, including services like ChatGPT, help cement the word's relevance in 2025. Now it's time to get into our deep dive on tonight's ARIAs with podcaster and music expert Alex Dyson. As the stars take to the red carpet, we unpack why the prestigious awards ceremony is still a vital springboard for Aussie music as iconic artists and the rising stars of the future take centre stage. Alex, thanks for joining us. What a fun chat today. Music's night of nights, celebration of everything that is great in our music industry here in Australia, the ARIAs.
Oh, so happy to come in and talk Australian music with you, Tash. The night of nights, or the afternoon of afternoons. It does get filmed in the afternoon.
Yes.
But goes to air on television tonight to celebrate another big year in Australian music. And it just goes to show how big an impact Australian artists have, not only here, but across the world. It's incredible.
And we've seen this resurgence in a lot of, one may argue old school music, like AC/DC has arrived in Australia. We've seen Metallica, we've seen Oasis. But what is really important about the ARIAs is it gives a platform to these extraordinary artists that we can call our own.
Absolutely. And there's such a great mix as well. Just looking through the nominations, you've got some tried and true members like Missy Higgins up for Album of the Year, got inducted to the Hall of Fame last year. Paul Kelly in the mix as well for a few gongs. But also the most nominated member, Nina Geraci, a young upstart producer from the Central Coast, has got a whole heap of nominations as well and is probably tipped to take out quite a few of those. It's one of those examples of there's no such thing as an overnight success. She's been producing electronic music since she was 12. Now in her mid-20s, this album is just getting so much attention all across the world, and I reckon it'll be a big celebration of young female electronic, girl EDM, they call it, music that'll be there at the ARIAs today.
So tell us about her story. I believe you knew about her on your Triple J days. Is that right? She was part of the Unearth program?
Yeah, well, she uploaded her music as hundreds of high schoolers across the country do for the Triple J initiative Unearthed High to try and find the best homegrown act in high school around the country. And so many great people have come through that. And Nina's Tarachi making the finals in a couple of years. And so you knew she was onto something, but here she is now just taking on the whole world and being nominated amongst some of the best musos Australia has to offer. And in the electronic categories, people like Rufus de Sol, who have also gone absolutely global, playing some massive sold-out shows around Australia at the moment. And so, yeah, it's great to see not only Nina Geraci, but another Nina Axarian, aka Nina Las Vegas, who's former of the Triple J
Yes.
Shed. She started a record label, independent record label, which has Nina Geraci as a part of. And so both in front of and behind the scenes, yeah, young Australians are absolutely killing it in music at the moment.
So let's talk about the fragmentation of the media and platforms. So conventionally years ago, radio was a great format for artists. You know, they would always talk about, the first time I heard my incredible song on live radio. But now there is a plethora of other platforms, for example, TikTok.
It's so true. The music over the last 10 to 15 years has gone through so much flux. I remember being at the ARIAs and talking to someone high up there who was quite amazed because they were like, the most money people make now is from streaming Spotify, and this was about 2015.
Yes.
Just overtook CDs as where musical artists get their income from.
Right.
That technology didn't exist 7 years before.
It's incredible,
so going
isn't
from
it?
CDs to streaming and now into those short form things like TikTok and the like and, you know, Instagram Reels where a lot of people have songs that go viral, but not even full songs. They're parts of songs. And so they can be catchy ones that can go in a different way. And yeah, it's a really interesting way that young people are consuming music these days. And it does sort of lower the floor. Like anyone can have a song that goes quite big, but yeah, it is interesting how I'm sure there'll be a natural, you know, sort of reaction to that with the rise of not only TikTok, but AI-generated music going to that human connection. And it'll be great just seeing the human faces up on stage accepting awards tonight and giving some speeches.
Alex, we love the red carpet with a lot of these events as well.
So we just...
You and Matt.
And the musos always, you know, they do it differently.
Don't they deliver,
They
though?
really do. And there's always some rock bands in just their T-shirt and sneakers. And you're like, well, what are we doing here? I don't know how to dress up for a red carpet.
And always the sunglasses, right?
Musos love a sunnies. Yeah.
Inside as well.
When you get in, that'll remain on. There's no doubt about it, I'm sure.
So tell us about some of your best red carpet moments because you and Matt have absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, over the years, working at Triple J, you know, obviously it's part of the national broadcaster, publicly funded. We're not there to be accepting, you know, brand deals when it comes to wearing our schmick suits. And so we often sourced our ARIA's red carpet attire from the listeners' ideas. And that sort of morphed into dressing up as some of the artists. So I remember going along dressed as Kimbra and Gautier as somebody I used to know. So I was a terrible moment. I was shirtless because the video clip, if you've seen it, is body paint, over a bare chest. And so I had my bare chest and I was talking to Molly Meldrum for the first time in the area that you get picked up in the limos. And I was just standing there topless talking to Molly and he's like, what are you up to? I'm like, yeah, sorry, it's look at my back. I'm Kimbra. You got to look at my back at the moment. Yeah.
So in regards to the red carpet moments, what have been some of the takeaways for you? You were just saying you had audience reaction about what you could wear.
Yep.
Didn't Matt also go a seer once?
He did. There's quite a bit of lycra happening there.
Okay.
And so I'm sure a few media outlets blurred what was going on when it comes to the lycra package that he wore when it came to Sia. I was dressed as Chet Faker at the time in the fake beard and the beanie, which was a lot less revealing. I could hide my identity and pretend I didn't know him. But it's always a whole heap of fun and being able to go along. And a lot of the musos, they're not used to that kind of glitz and glamour. And so it's really nice seeing particularly young musos go along for the first time and get a taste of people celebrating them and celebrating what they do because music is about connection and having their songs be able to connect in any way, whether it's Nina Geraci singing about, you know, an iPod Touch, you know, that a lot of people of her generation can relate to that connection with music in high school, or whether it's Missy Higgins singing about a second act, you know, going through life and getting older and being able to pivot and learn and grow and that sort of thing. There's some at the base of it is all about connection and yeah, really looking forward to seeing how it all goes tonight.
And of course, one of your first ARIA events was at the Sydney Opera House.
Well,
so you and Matt are having this full circle moment where you're doing a live podcast of your show at the Sydney Opera House tomorrow night.
But one of the other great things about the ARIAs is occasionally with, live television, it can be a train wreck. And my first, official ARIAs, 2010, steps of the Sydney Opera House, there were memorable moments where people were getting the name of Tame Impala's album wrong. Bob Catter got up and was saying, and the ARIA goes to, and I'm sure that someone's made a supercut on YouTube you can see of the 2010 ARIAs. But yeah, Matt and I will be reliving those days on stage because we're still doing the All Day Breakfast podcast and talk to a heap of Aussie musicians through that and really try to keep championing it. So it'll be really exciting to get up there and maybe even perform at the Opera House a song of our own. So I won't say any more about that.
Song of your own.
I can guarantee you it won't be nominated for an ARIA. That's the only guarantee I could give you, Tash.
Don't put yourself down.
Well, we were nominated, Matt and I, for a Best Comedy Release. And Tom Ballard and I, when we were hosts, we did win an ARIA, but they've discontinued the Best Comedy award
no, so
now.
you've been robbed.
So, yeah, robbed, but also carryover champions indefinitely. I'm not sure who was the final person to win it, but yeah. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll have to pivot into being a real musician and singing my parody songs.
So tell us about your show and what is it like with audience interaction? Because I still think it's one of the greatest gifts is being able to have that interaction with a live audience.
Well, that is a really good thing. And working in radio, you realise it is just about the audience. And, music was the thing that connects you together there, but also comedy and having a good time. And there's something to be said for making that community. And you'll see at the ARIA is such a great entire community of people who come together and support each other. I think that Australian music's really good at that. And I think Australian broadcasting is good too. And the great thing about radio is, and I'm sure you've found this as well, is you get to be yourself on air. Like I feel sorry sometimes for actors who are playing a role and they're known as a particular different character they've had to play. But when you're being yourself and you're having a laugh or you're being vulnerable, it's a lot of it is you. And so yeah, it's always great when you get in a room. It's nerve-wracking having people in the room because I'm used to just assuming people laugh at my jokes. Having to really test that in person is really terrifying. So
what do you find the toughest medium? Like I think stand-up comedy, when you watch someone perform, I think it's such an extraordinary craft because you can watch them and they often can ad-lib their routine, change it because it's not hitting or it is working. What do you think is the most difficult or challenging medium, do you think?
Yeah, stand-up is probably the most surprisingly challenging because it's amazing the intricacies and the emphasis and the honing of a particular joke. And it can work one night and not work the next, maybe because beforehand someone sneezed loudly and it distracted people and so the joke doesn't land. And so I think that's particularly challenging. Obviously music is tough in a different sense, like having to perform something that's probably been born in a bedroom somewhere to a whole room of people, be able to sing and play at the same time, like that's particularly challenging as well. But I don't know, news reading could be pretty challenging too, I would say, Tash.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
I've tried doing an auto cue before and you mess up once and you're gone. And so I have great respect for so many fields across the creative arts.
Great respect for artists like yourself too, Alex. In regards to, I guess, performing for you, I think there is such a huge opening right now in our country for satire. There is so much going on in the world right now, and we've seen it really changing in the States as well, where a lot of those comedians have come under fire for, having a go at whatever the government may be.
Or in the case of go to Saudi Arabia and performing at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, not having a go at the government is, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't sometimes. Yeah.
So do you think there's a good opening for that here? Like, I just think we're missing really a great comedy show, whatever platform that is on, because there is so much material right now. Every single day in the news cycle, it's like you can't make this up.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why it's so challenging.
Yes.
A lot of times the death of satire, some of the happenings are funnier than any joke you could write particularly when it comes to, I mean, we peaked when Rudy Giuliani hosted a press conference from Four Seasons landscaping.
And is that the rain or the sweat where he dyed his hair?
Again, it's tough to tell, but when that's happening, I feel sorry for the Saturday Night Lives of the world and, the Stephen Colberts of the world because it is very difficult to do that. But you are right, it is in times like that as well, often people do turn to the creative arts, whether it's music or particularly comedy, to tell it how it is and point out the the hypocrisy, the ridiculousness of a few of the things that our leaders are doing. So, yeah, it's certainly ripe. And the great thing, one of the good things about social media, it allows anyone who's got that sort of bent to have their comment. And you've seen the rise of people like Punters Politics,
Yes.
who is attacking like serious issues in a way that's digestible for people and easy to understand, because I'm of the opinion sometimes politicians make politics deliberately boring.
Of course they
so
do.
you tune out and they can do whatever they want because there's no attention and there's no one holding them accountable. And
Yeah.
so being able to make some of these big decisions digestible in a comedic sense, I think is really important.
Such a great chat, Alex. Thank you for
Thanks,
joining us,
Tash.
and good luck tomorrow night. Cannot wait.
Thank you so much.
That was co-host of Matt and Alex All Day Breakfast, Alex Dyson. And that's it for this episode of the afternoon edition of The Briefing. We'd love you to subscribe or follow us on Instagram @The Briefing Podcast. I'm Natarsha Belling. Thanks for your company.